Dinner for shoes, please. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Dinner for Shoes. This is episode 26, which is a huge milestone for us, and I just want to applaud for a second, everyone. Girls. Trisha's sitting on top of the big screen TV right now. She's normally scared of TVs, but since it's not on, it's cool. Anyway, so we have gotten really far. It's the 26th episode. This is our last episode that rounds out our Women's History Month series. And I'm really excited about the conversation that you're going to get to hear today and who I had on the podcast today. So we're going to get into that. And I don't want to take up too much time from it, so I won't bother you too much. I just want to talk about the outfit behind the shoes that I'm wearing. And I also wanted to incorporate a little snack, of course. It, of course, goes hands in hands with the conversation, the outfit, and all of that, the way it normally does. But let's talk for a second about who I had on today. So I had on Lauren Chan, who is an incredible model, fashion editor, spokesperson, body inclusive advocate. She's a Sports Illustrated swim model. She's a really incredible person, and honestly, probably one of my favorite interviews that I've had on Dinner for Shoes so far. So I really want you to enjoy the full, thorough breakdown of our conversation. But Lauren, she launched Henning, which is a size inclusive brand. It was a plus size brand. And I remember when it first launched, I was obsessed with it because I was telling her this, and you'll hear this in the interview, but I wanted everything on the website. It is basics, but sophisticated basics. And it's everything that you don't see in extended sizes that you're looking for in extended sizes. Fast forward to make her friggin' dreams come true. She just worked with Universal Standard. They are the most size inclusive brand in the world. They do an incredible amount of fit testing. And as Lauren will go on to explain, they start their testing with a size 18 model, and then they scale down and up from there. And they ended up partnering with Lauren, bringing Henning into the Universal Standard family, which, I mean, she is now realizing her dreams. She's getting to see her clothing that she thought would always be something that she had to work on herself, kind of a higher price point, as you're going to find out, but it's accessible to so many more people now and through the Universal Standard family. And so she's really excited about that, and we celebrate her for that. Lauren just has so much knowledge and such a great perspective on fashion and inclusivity in general, which is why I'm proud to have a woman like her on as our final Women's History Month series podcast guest. Before you get into our conversation, and I hope learn a lot the same way that I did, I'm going to talk about these shoes, which, if you follow us on social media, you probably know that Vivaya is a brand we've been wearing recently. We wore it recently in a shoot. Producer Megan, and podcast host Sarah were in Charleston. The paparazzi were running after us, and we were in our Vivaya shoes, and we got away from them. No, we did a little Women's History Month photo shoot for International Women's Day, and now Trisha's sitting on the computer, so I have no idea if this is recording because her fat ass could have turned it off. I love you, puppy. Puppy, come here. Anyway, these Vivaya shoes. Anyway, these Vivaya shoes, so I love them. This is my favorite Vivaya shoe I have tried so far. I've tried a lot. I'm obsessed with the very small kitten heel on this pump. It is comfortable. It is flexible. The thing about Vivaya shoes is that they are made with a unique knitting technique out of recycled plastic water bottles. Marina Chen is the founder, another woman, yay, women. And they are just, this shoe is machine washable, okay? You don't find a pump that you love that's flexible, that fits on all feet, even a wide or a flat foot like mine, that is machine washable, well made, at a great price point. I can't tout these shoes enough. And while I do have, if you have seen our photo shoot on social media, you might have seen there's a translucent block heel version of the pump. I will say that I feel the most comfortable, and I think that these are the most flexible with the little kitten heel. So love them. Now, before I pull up my coffee and take a taste of this Trader Joe's cookie butter, let me just talk about, it's just like me to spill on my new clothes. I am wearing DVF for Target today. So this top and these really cool joggers that have a little like fluted hem at the ankle and elastic so that you can honestly make the look however you want, which I think is so cool and very body inclusive because everyone likes to highlight different parts of their body when it comes to clothes. And that's why I think that like pants that are, you know, adjustable, that have a wide leg, that are like very flattering, are great for all sizes. And in envisioning a collection that's going to go to a mass market like the Target shoppers, that just makes so much sense. I'm a big fan of the DVF for Target collection. This Lazy Susan and this coffee cup and saucer are also from the DVF for Target collection. I'm really obsessed with the Lazy Susan and thinking that we're going to start using it for my shoe because I just like that you can spin it. If I want to show the shoe from different angles, I don't have to twist it like I was in my hand before. I can just go like this. I can't even explain to you the way my heart just like shut up. Because I'm always like messing things up, which like, you know, if you know me, and I just was like, fuck. Like we're going to have on camera me, you know, going to the hospital for like the 35th time in my life. Okay. But I'm going to stop playing. I'm going to only spin to actually reach food that I need from now on. But I do love this Lazy Susan. I love how it goes with my Lem Lem rug. There are some similar tones. So I think that's really cool. And I think it really complements my space really nicely. Mine and Nick's space too. I'm kidding. I took over the whole entire house. So anyway, I'm a big fan of that collection. It's well-rounded as well. There's something for everyone, which is the way fashion should be, which speaks to the whole theme of body inclusive fashion. And as far as what I wanted to try today as my dinner. Okay, so I think that I went for cookie butter because here's this. I used to be obsessed with the Trader Joe's mixed nut butter, which they've discontinued. I used to write about this on my social media. I used to record Instagram stories about how much I love the I also forgot to mention that I'm wearing Marrow Fine rings. Marrow Fine rings that I had customized. I love them. Okay, sorry. So I am being very distracting today. I wanted to try the cookie butter because everyone would say to me when I was upset that they discontinued mixed nut butter at Trader Joe's, they'd be like, but have you tried the cookie butter? Because like you're totally missing out if you haven't tried the cookie butter. And I'm like, no, like trust me, the mixed nut butter is better. Never tried the cookie butter. Because in my mind, I'm thinking like, well, I like peanuts. Is this even made with peanuts? It's deliciously unusual with crushed Belgian biscuits. I have my biscuit here to put it on. And the warm flavors of holiday spice bread. See, that's interesting. And it's interesting that that sounds seasonal to me, and yet they can continue to produce this product, but not the mixed nut butter. So I'm going into this a little bit pessimistic, a little bit mad still about not having my mixed nut butter. And I'm gonna see if I can be swayed. I wanted to get this Speculoos cookie butter spread. Still unsure about that pronunciation, but because everyone says it's great, everyone loves it, it's universally loved. And I think that fashion is universally loved and that fashion should be universally worn by everyone. Every shape and size and background and person on earth deserves to have clothing made for them that they love. And so because of that, I was like, all right, let's get in on the hype. You know what I mean? So here, let me just like talk a little bit about this situation. First of all, I have coffee with some oat milk in this little coffee cup with whipped cream on top. It's really good. It tastes even better out of that cup. When you open up the cookie butter spread, there's this gold covering, and you want to take that off. It's almost like a gold piece of aluminum foil, really. That's interesting. Okay. Now, as everyone knows, if you know me and my nut butter, what I do, on my thumb, I was cheating. I didn't really taste anything yet, is I literally sit there with my spoon and I just eat the nut butter out of the container. I'm going to like not be so gross in front of you today, but I am going to try it plain first. Or do you want me to try it plain first? Or do you want me to try it on the cookie first, on the biscotti? What do you think? Do you want to come up and try it? I'm sure you do. Okay, interesting. When I went to take the knife into the There she is. When I went to take the knife, and Trisha's fluffing on the fluffing blanket to my left, into the cookie butter spread, it almost looks like silly putty, I want to say. Like, it doesn't look like peanut butter. We're going to try it plain. Oh. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. I'm going to eat this whole tub. Okay, now I know why people are obsessed with this. It tastes like graham cracker. The sweetest graham cracker you've ever had in your life, but in spread form. Can you believe this shit? You're not going to like it. You don't like stuff that's sweet. But I do want to try it on a biscotti. As does Kit. Because I want to see what it's like on, I would try this on a banana. I was thinking about a banana, but it's not peanut butter. It's hard for my brain to understand that something that looks like peanut butter and is in a peanut butter jar is not peanut butter and is a graham cracker. Okay. Here's what I think about it. My first taste of it, I was more mesmerized because I think by itself, it tastes like a cookie, but not in cookie form. I know that's the whole point of it, but it just was more like magical to me tasting it on its own. On the biscotti, I'm being distracted by the biscotti flavor. And I can't say that it's like so wow to me. I think this is more wow when you just eat it with a spoon out of the container, personally. I don't know if that's just a me thing. But it's so good. If you guys have not had the cookie butter from Trader Joe's, get on that. Get on that. Should we tell them to get on it or should we tell them to get on it? Get on it. Anyway, I do really want you to enjoy my conversation with Lauren and learn all about her new Henning collection with Universal Standard and just about her experience in the fashion industry. She has so much wisdom and I really enjoyed having her on the podcast. Stretch. Go ahead and watch.
Yeah, I wanted to be a fashion editor and I'm from Toronto and we have a few magazines with small mastheads and it wasn't exactly an easy place to break into because it is so small that there are only so many roles, right? That coupled with the fact that New York is really the center of the fashion world, at least in North America. And when this dream of mine was developing, like the Hills and Teen Vogue were top of mind. Yeah. I obviously wanted to work in New York. Mm-hmm. So I tried to do that. I applied for jobs in my last year of university and then realized that getting a work visa would be really tough. Because essentially you have to prove that your job skill is so unique. It is essential for the business to outsource to a foreign talent over any American.
Right.
And it didn't work. It wasn't true. It just wasn't. I was a 21-year-old with like a few bylines in a school paper and a local fashion blog. So I thought backwards into that logic, and I thought that if my job skill was what I looked like, then technically it would be unique. And so I went to a Ford Models open call and got signed and got my first US visa that way. And so that's how, by accident, I kind of fell into both fashion with a capital F and the size inclusive, or at that time, plus size side of fashion.
That's such a brilliant idea. Like, I feel like you did it all in the perfect timing too, right? Just to get
I was just so set on doing it. I felt scrappy and I was like, I'll do any which way. I'll do any job for free. I'll get there by any means.
So as of now, you have your hands in a lot of different buckets. Like, you're doing a lot. You're still modeling as well, I know. And how do you make sure that like the projects that you're taking on value inclusivity the way you do so like earnestly and honestly on your own Instagram, for example, or with your own platform?
I mean, I think that saying no sometimes is just the answer. The best spot to be, though, is in a place where you have a booking and it's not maybe where you want it to be in terms of inclusivity, and the client is flexible enough to meet you where you want the bar to be.
Yeah.
That's where change really happens. That's why it's so important to give roles of even just representation to a diverse set of people, because after that, you can see the diversity expanding in different ways. Representation is the way in, but after that, you can see, product, if we're talking about size expansions or color shade expansions. You can see diversity in who's hired as a consultant, and then who's, used in marketing, and how many people of that category they're able to reach, yada, yada, yada. So, sometimes the answer is no, and sometimes the answer is to challenge brands to meet you where you think the bar for inclusivity should be.
Do you have an example? You don't have to like name the brand or whatever, but do you have an example of a situation when that happened and you kind of like, stepped in and said, well, I'll do this as long as this.
Yeah, I mean, they range from when I'm asked to be on a panel and there aren't Black women on the panel, I'll always suggest a creator or whatever spot they're trying to fill in terms of job function, who's a woman of color. With regard to like content and what I was doing when I was a magazine editor, I mean, those were challenges and pitches every day and every meeting. One that I can recall now that's I think a good example is we were casting for an eyeliner shoot, and I was in even though I wasn't on the beauty team, because it was a casting moment and I asked to be invited, and I said, well, why don't we shoot Ashley Graham? Why aren't we shooting someone who isn't sample size for this? Because there's no eyeliner sample size.
Yeah.
This can be in the minutia of business conversations. It doesn't have to be like who's on the one billboard. There are many ways to kind of execute inclusivity.
Yeah. So, okay, tell us about, Sports Illustrated was obviously a huge moment for you. I've interviewed a bunch of people who have worked with the brand, and they have like the best things to say about Sports Illustrated. So I'm curious how the partnership came to be, kind of like what the experience was like for you, and like what you cherish about the experience.
Yeah, I think people are really energized by being part of Sports Illustrated Swimsuit because of what it has stood for so long in terms of celebration and acceptance, and who is deemed as super valuable in this culture. I think that the brand has done an incredible job at expanding the definition of who that is, especially the past 10. And so for me, it's such like a big, wonderful, long story, but I ended up being a rookie last year. I came out in the issue, and that all came together because I got the request from Sports Illustrated Swimsuit to submit a casting tape at a time in my life where I had just spent the past year privately reckoning with my sexuality and coming out and getting divorced. And so when I sat down to film that casting tape, I forewent my usual spiel of like, hi, I'm Lauren. I'm a size inclusive fashion editor. I care about XYZ, and this is me. And I decided to tell my personal story instead because of how well Sports Illustrated Swimsuit has done that for other folks, and how much of an impact I knew it could have on the people watching. And it resonated, and it came together just so wonderfully and in the most fulfilling way. And it felt right. It kind of aligned. Stars aligned.
Yeah. That's such a testament to how, when anyone wants any job or gig or whatever it is, like just being your authentic self and talking about what's actually going on inside, like that's always going to resonate with someone. And, being real is just like the way into people's hearts sometimes. So I think that was like the right choice.
Certainly. Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, of course. So, okay, when you are going to like any event, be it something during fashion week or, in your day-to-day, how do you style an outfit? Like kind of what's your get ready ethos, and have you ever worked with a stylist? Are you open to it?
Oh my God, I don't have a stylist and I would die for one. I have a few stylists whom I would particularly just love to work with. But right now I'm styling myself, and I think I'm meant to be for my emotional journey of body image and confidence, of style and self-expression, of learning this new out version of me. And I'm having a really fulfilling experience.
Absolutely.
I mean, I now identify as a lesbian, but when I didn't, I was really showing up in a way that I thought women needed to within the male gaze, in the way that I was taught by culture that men want women to look. And really that means I was trying to abide by the beauty ideal within the male gaze, you know, and I'm not that. I'm a size 14. I've been up to a size 18, 20. I'm Asian and Armenian. You know, I have not curves in all the right places and not an hourglass. And I had a lot of friction with that because I was striving so hard to both look like and dress like what I thought was the ideal for the male gaze. And when I let that go and I crossed over into the female gaze, I just felt immediately more comfortable.
Yeah.
I've been using clothes less so in a way to hide myself and more so in a way to highlight myself. And that does not mean flattery, because I feel like that's such a male gaze thing, is to dress in a flattering way, which of course is code for slimming and like curve enhancing, right? And clothes in their essence are not made to make women look smaller and more sexual for men. Clothes in their essence should be for self-expression, art, adventure, community, what have you. So I'm dressing actually a little more feminine. I feel comfortable in femininity now, and I used to try to kind of like put up a force field around me in oversized suits all the time. I love an oversized suit, but now I will wear a little sexy corset, which is so crazy to me. But I'm really enjoying the experience. It just kind of has gone to show me too how style and fashion is important, and it can really be seen as frivolous because it's a quote unquote women's industry. But you know, these things are the building blocks to our self-expression in a lot of ways.
Yep, completely. And I am someone who has like always followed you, and I feel like, you know, you could just tell when someone has confidence in what they're wearing and just like confidence and more relaxed in life in general. And I do, like, every time you post an outfit picture, I'm like, I like am immediately like, I want to wear that. That's like my favorite way to just like talk about what other women's outfits.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
And all of my friends are like, I can feel it from you. Like, I can see it.
Yes.
So I don't know, that's so special to me because I feel aligned. Like, I feel like really comfy in who I am. And I mean, I just didn't ever think that people could pick up on the fact that I wasn't. Maybe I was using my work in fashion in terms of inclusivity more so for community and the greater good. And yes, it was a part of that communal conversation, but like I wasn't really like a personal style girly. Like, I wasn't really a look queen.
Yeah.
And now I like care and I have fun and I plan ahead and I'm like into it. And I think that just kind of is a reflection of being a little bit more into myself.
Right. And I feel like there's no better time than to be working with like Universal Standard on your collection when you're like feeling this like creative inspiration. So I guess, how are you feeling about, you know, your sense of style going into 2024, and how do you plan to like bring that into this collection that you're putting out to the world?
That's, I mean, go off segue. I love my Universal Standard collection so much. It was designed in a time where, from personal experience, you know, I was in an office and really in need of workwear. And obviously that is less prevalent for so many people. And so for this collection, we've added denim, we've added some more casual tops. And I think that's certainly one way I'm taking the Henning ethos into 2024. And then I think that, you know, not being the, you know, sole driver of a small business where I was really up against the wall for the sales of my products, I now have the ability to like style it with other items.
Yeah.
And so I do want to talk about some other brands that I love as well, but like
Yeah.
I'm loving my Universal Standard Crosby tux, the tuxedo, and I'll wear that with like a sheer cup bra, you know, or I'll wear it with a vintage ruffle breasted tuxedo shirt.
I love that.
For summer, I'll probably take that blazer on like evening dates with a black Bermuda short, like a la Tom Brown.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I can tell when I'm talking about, like, I'm having fun with it.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited that these staple essential pieces will really carry through this kind of style transition or seasonal transition or business transition, what have you. So I hope it does the same for everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm assuming you would say that that's probably like your most worn piece right now is like the Crosby tuxes. Okay.
A black blazer will always be my most worn thing. It was the first thing I made for Henning. It was the bestseller there. It's now my favorite Henning X Universal Standard thing. It's the thing I have, I mean, like, beyond just that one even, I have so many in my closet, and I just feel really peak powerful in it.
Yeah.
I feel like in terms of actual shopping, it's like super versatile. And it's something that I now can say, like, we offer in sizes 00 to 40, so everyone can wear and style it in a unique way.
When Henning came out, I remember, like, I loved all of the clothes, and I was just like, I want everything here. It was a small curated selection, but it was also a curated selection that isn't generally available in plus sizes on other sites. And it was just like, I would like scroll down, and I remember just being like, but I want more of this. So like, it's cool now that this partnership with Universal Standard, is like allowing you to, I'm so excited to see like what else comes from it. But do you want to talk a little bit, and I don't know how much you can share, but how the partnership with Universal Standard is going to progress?
Yeah, so right now we are focused on this collection. It's limited edition, and so we're excited about how it came out and came together. The response has been really great. I think that my favorite part always through the history of the business in any iteration was seeing it on people and reading their reviews and listening to their comments, because they tend to be very, very heartfelt and super moving. But this time, now that things are available in sizes 00 to 40, you know, when I ran Henning by myself, it was only sizes 12 to 26. So I'm getting to see sizes 28 to 40 and sizes 00 to 10, which I hadn't seen before. And so that's really exciting. Anyways, I digress. We'll see what the future holds in terms of more products. Right now, it's limited edition.
Okay.
So get it while you can.
That is a really cool experience, though, to see it like in even more sizes than you originally imagined it.
Oh, it's just, I mean, that's why Henning is in such a good home, because Universal Standard is the most size inclusive business in the world.
Yeah.
My original pie in the sky dream for Henning was to be sizeless. I wanted to make clothes to measure at scale. So I wanted everyone who ordered clothing to get it to their measurements, and where the size tag would be, their name would be instead. Yeah. Fashion, unfortunately, is not set up to be able to produce at scale in that manner. And so it's in the best possible place it could be with the size 00 to 40 size range.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very, very true. So was there anything, like, I understand that obviously this is all your baby. So working with Universal Standard, I can imagine that they were just like, you know, take the reins, like, what's the style? But was there anything that came to be when you did mesh with Universal Standard where, I don't know, maybe you thought of a new style with them, or you thought of the brand and what it represents in a different way?
Yeah, definitely. So the collection takes on the Henning bestsellers, and to the naked eye, they really look like the Henning pieces. What Universal Standards partnership added was a level of quality, wear testing, and fit expertise that they have perfected as a much bigger company for many, many, many years, and accessibility in terms of price point, which is really important, because Henning was made as a small business on small orders, made in New York City. And so our prices, honestly, were probably mispriced. I was operating at about half of the standard fashion margin.
Right.
So they should have been almost double the price that they were, which would have made my leather jacket $3,000. It would have made my $2,000. It would have made my blazer $1,000. And this is based on paying fair labor wages alone. I'm not saying we didn't pay fair labor wages. We did, but the markup thereafter, I should have been, a markup X8 and I was only a markup X4 kind of thing. So this is all to say, with Universal Standards economies of scale, with their reach, their factory relationships, the amount of units they're able to produce, the amount of fabric they're able to buy, that brings the price of everything down, because I'm sure that if listeners probably know, but as you buy things in more quantity, whether it's labor or actual goods, the price goes down.
Right.
So now the trench coat is like $228.
It's amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Which to me is so, I can hear myself talking with more energy. It just means it's accessible to more people.
Yeah.
Right. And it's an emotional pain point for me. Is I was running it as thin as I could, and still, it was a luxury price point. And so that, if only that would have been an amazing addition to the pieces. But more than that, Universal Standard has perfected the fit experience, the best in the business. They start on a size 18, which is technically the median size of American women. And then they grade up and down from there and cross-check fit on all of the sizes. Unheard of.
Yeah.
Primarily because it costs much more money to do that than the way that fashion typically does it, which is to fit on, I don't know, size 6 or 8 maybe, one time check. But of course we believe in inclusivity, really, and it costs money to do it that way.
Totally.
The third thing is the fabrics. Their breadth of fabric knowledge, of proof over time, and all of the wonderful things that they've made and seen on customers has made everything more performance-based. I would say that the original Henning pieces were fashion pieces. My trench coat was a Japanese stretch wool. It was so luxe. Everyone loved it on them. It just draped so beautifully. It was done. But you could not get that thing wet.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of the point of a trench coat. So now it's made of a performance fabric that functions as well as it looks. And so for all of those reasons, I mean, they're just made tenfold better with Universal Standard expertise, for sure.
Yeah. And Universal Standard and you working together for this reason, it feels like it's your dream come true. You're saying you're
really
getting excited when you're thinking about it. Anyone who has the dream that you had when you created Henning would want that accessibility. And I just am so happy for you. That's amazing.
Oh, thanks. I tend to blow by my highs really fast and move on to the next thing, as I'm sure you do too, as a successful woman in this industry. It's kind of a necessity for us to always keep growing and having the edge. But I do appreciate that, because it is really worth slowing down and thinking about what my goal was when I started, and why I do what I do. And it's wrapped up in just the best way for the greater good, which is what I care about at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit. I know you said you wanted to mention some other brands that you do think are doing a great job. And I'm very interested to hear what you have to say, because I constantly find myself looking for those brands. So tell us about some of your peers in the industry.
Yeah, so when I was running Henning, I always really loved being in the same lane as Ray, W-R-A-Y, NYC, and Tamara Mount.
They have great jeans, right? They have really good denim, too.
Ray?
Yeah? Am I thinking
Ray
of...
is?
Maybe
that's Warp and Weft. Warp
yes.
and Weft is a denim. Yeah.
That is what I'm thinking of.
Styles. Yeah, they run the same styles for plus and straight size, which is a moment to celebrate, because often plus size designs are watered down. Not the case there. Ray is really chic, sexy, and fun, dresses, tops. They do trousers and stuff as well, but for me, I really love the dresses and tops there. Even the swim. If you really love a pattern and a fun moment, Big Bud Press. If you're, and then okay, so then we kind of get into this space where There are brands that are doing extended sizes but aren't necessarily screaming it from the rooftops. And noticed more expansions in this space that I'm really excited about because of my like personal style. But Banana Republic has an amazing offering of extended sizes. J. Crew has an amazing offering of, full plus sizes up to 24 on certain products. Meow is doing more plus, which like I just like can't fathom having access to a brand that is that in the zeitgeist of what's cool and what's sexy and who's allowed to be 10 years ago. And so it really it's around, people are worried in general in the industry about a regression in size inclusion because we saw in maybe 17, 18, a big peak. And then since then we've seen like Loft roll back its plus sizes, Old Navy roll back plus sizes, celebrity brands like Melissa McCarthy and Rebel Wilson shutter. But you know what? I would rather have access to J. Crew and Meow than some of the ones that shuttered. And so I love the place that we're in. I know it is not where it should be. We won't feel good until people above size 14 are treated as equally and have as much to shop as those size 12 and under. But it's out there, and it's we're in kind of like a different phase of inclusion. And if we keep talking about it, and we keep wearing it, and we keep asking to be included, and we keep showing that we have self-worth and we want to be here and we deserve to be here, then hopefully it keeps progressing.
I love that. And I think that you're completely right. And I love that you are a part of this now. And this gets to be, kind of like your baby too. And you get to kind of show where the plus size industry is going. So I'm so happy for you. And I feel like that was a good note to end on, unless you have anything else.
No, that's great. Thank you so much. This is so energizing and a necessary reminder to slow down, do some inventory, have a celebration for a win, and then get back to the grind, because I'm sure you feel it too. Us in our unique position with work and who we are is we never have time to pat ourselves on the back.
Never. And even when we do, we do something else instead. So this is definitely I'm celebrating you, so you should celebrate yourself too.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, it's so fun to talk to you.
So much fun. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for tuning into our conversation with Lauren. We hope that you enjoyed it, and we know we did. I really did learn so much from her. I think her perspective, especially what she was saying about how you really need to take the time to celebrate and not gloss over the triumphs in your career, is so important. Everyone should do that. People who are interested in fashion, people who are not. We don't do it enough. The fashion industry is so fast paced that we're always on to the next thing. We're always being challenged. We always feel like we want to be a better version of whatever it is that we are now. So it's hard to stop and celebrate how far we've come. And if anyone should do that, it should be Lauren, because she's doing amazing things and her looks are so chic. She looks so great. She feels so great right now in her life. You can just tell how confident she is. And I'm very happy that I got to talk to her when she was in this as she is in this really great place in her life. And she feels so confident and secure with her direction. So thanks again for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll be back with another one soon. Wink, wink.